Hello everybody, my name is Starrapter and welcome to the channel. Happy New Year to you guys. It's been a couple weeks since we got new Star Wars releases, but we are back at it again. I had a lot of time spent with family as well as playing video games and getting a lot of rest over the last couple weeks, so I'm ready to take on 2019. Specifically for Star Wars, it's going to be one hell of a year. So let's get started with the two comics that came out this week. First one is from the Age of Republic series, and this is Obi-Wan. And we have Obi-Wan Kenobi training Anakin Skywalker. This takes place after the Phantom Menace, but before we see that Obi-Wan and Anakin comic series written by Charles Soule. So we have this issue, which is all about the relationship between Obi-Wan Kenobi and a very young Anakin Skywalker. This is very early on in Anakin's career as a Jedi, and this actually shows us the very first adventure of Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi out there as what they are doing, being keepers of the peace, because at this point it's kind of a very peaceful era in Star Wars, right? There isn't a big Clone Wars going on yet. There isn't no galactic civil war. So we get to see what the Jedi do in their typical type of, mission. So we actually have this call that there's this archaeological dig, and there supposedly is a holocron. So that is what Obi-Wan is going to do. He brings Anakin along after Yoda says, look, you should bring your Padawan along. So they get there, and of course there's a little bit of action because there's these pirates that are on the planet, and they find out about this, invaluable holocron, which they think will obviously sell for a lot of money. So we have Obi-Wan Kenobi defending against these pirates, and they successfully complete their mission, and that just tells us like the very first adventure of these two characters going on a real mission. So very fulfilling story, very important story, I think, in the grand scheme of things for the relationship between Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin, and about how they trust each other and how they're both kind of helping each other succeed in life. So getting into things that I liked about this, first off, just getting more of the relationship between Anakin and Obi-Wan. Really seeing how Anakin compares to the other students his age. As remember in the Phantom Menace, Yoda was saying he's too old to begin the training. And we get that feeling from Anakin saying he's already too old for a lot of the kids in the class. He's not being able to do as much. And we're seeing that kind of conflict of Obi-Wan Kenobi as well, saying like Qui-Gon was really supposed to be his master. This wasn't supposed to be all thrown on him. How is he doing it? He's kind of stressing out about everything. And it really just gets us into Obi-Wan Kenobi's mind just in that era, which we don't get a lot of for sure. I do like the use of flashbacks. We see some things with Obi-Wan as a little Padawan, with him working with Qui-Gon, with actual scenes from the Phantom Menace, with Darth Maul, all different things. I think it's really done with a great expert fashion, going with these flashbacks to kind of represent what's going on. I do also enjoy that fight with Obi-Wan Kenobi, how it was very much like a samurai-esque feel where he's just trying to defend Anakin, and he's just taking out these pirates like crazy, using everything from force pushes to just slashing their weapons in half. So overall, I really enjoyed Obi-Wan #1. Again, another valuable comic story that is going to be told through the use of this Age of Republic comic book series. And moving on to the next comic this week, we have Han Solo Imperial Cadet issue #3. Last we left off, we have Han Solo not only getting himself in trouble, but also getting his cadet buddies in trouble with him from the last mission that he botched up. So they are spent their time cleaning up, the floors and doing stuff in kitchens and stuff that just isn't really what they want to do as TIE fighter cadets. Well, they do get a mission. It isn't to fly their own TIE fighters, but they have to actually escort these TIE fighters with this special ship that's a carrier to this one point, and they have to fly back. And it's a very mundane mission. Han Solo ends up speeding the process by a whole day, and it gets him and his cadets a little bit of shore leave onto this pleasure yacht, which has a casino and everything else. On that pleasure yacht, we have Han Solo, who ends up talking to this Ithorian to try to find out where Kira is. So at this moment in time, he still really is caring about Kira. And next thing you know, he starts a whole thing with this fight that happens between the Black Sun and this this Ithorian, and it just gets really crazy. And somehow, miraculously, they get back to the Imperial Cadet facility on Creative without any of the Imperial higher-ups knowing about it. I really did enjoy how Han Solo is still actively thinking about Kira, as that is his #1 goal. The reason why he is going through all this hell is to get a ship to fly back to her. I also really enjoyed seeing that Imperial freighter design. It's from Star Wars Rebels. They pulled it from the expanded universe. It carries the ties. I like how they show how it's actually being operated by very few crew members. Unlike the Star Destroyers, which have like thousands of people, this little thing can only have like 5 people and they're good. I also like how it shows Han, who is actually, in this one moment, he's actually staying later to clean up everything to get the items he needs to get to this pleasure yacht. So it actually goes back with this flashback sequence and says, oh, you remember he was doing all this stuff in the beginning of the comic book? And it actually calls back to that. So I like the way that they are able to edit this story to kind of show why he was doing all that later on in the comic book series, or in the comic book issue. It helps the plot, helps move along. I did like seeing Han gamble. It's another way of really giving us that information that, wow, he is actually really good at what he does as far as gambling, which makes it even more believable when he wins against Lando. I did like seeing an Ithorian in action. I don't think we ever really see those guys do much of anything, so it's always nice to see that, especially because it's like the one from Rebels. He's got that voice modulator, which will help him speak basic. And I did like seeing more of the Black Sun, about their soldiers, their foot soldiers, and hopefully we'll get some story with some more Black Sun characters in it soon, because I find that criminal organization to be quite interesting. And moving on to my question of the week, this comes to me on Twitter from James M, the Crazy Gamer Historian 1999 at Robin McCormick. He asked me, Starrapter, what Legends characters do you want to see return to canon? Well, that's a great question. So I'm pretty much going to say everything from Star Wars The Old Republic, Knights of the Old Republic. I love that gaming series, and I think there's just such rich characters, especially when you look at characters such as Darth Malgus, Revan, Malak, Bastila Shan, Satil Shan. I can just go on and on. Canderous Ordo, like all those guys had such great stories that were just so compelling. And to be honest with you, the stories are set so far back in history that you can almost kind of treat them like canon, because they're so far flung that they'll never really affect what happens in the current films and series, unless, for instance, it's like a holocron and somebody learned from Revan or something like that. So that's my first answer. Going more into the current timeline of Star Wars, I would say anything from Shadows of the Empire is probably up for grabs for me. I would definitely like to see Prince Xizor from that series, because he is just like this really, and I was just talking about Black Sun. He is the leader of Black Sun, and I think he would be another compelling character for the underworld. We don't have enough like underworld bosses. Like, we have all these Imperial characters, but we have like Jabba the Hutt. We have Kira, who is now in charge of the Crimson Dawn, and well, at one point Darth Maul was. But other than that, I really can't think of too many other criminal heads that really have a lot of power in Star Wars. So I think Prince Xizor hopefully will get inputted into the current canon at some point. And also, he's kind of been teased a little bit, but I would love to see none other than Dash Rendar. Yes, that is what people sometimes call like the Diet Han Solo, because they threw that character in there when Han Solo was in Carbonite. They needed that smuggler type of character. But I think he can stand well on his own, especially if he was in the same era as like Han Solo being alive. I'd love to see those guys kind of like play off each other with like being, because they're both like in Legends, they are both kind of rivals, right? Like, they are friendly rivals. They both came from the same world, Corellia. They both fly very similar ships, and his ship is actually my favorite, the YT 2400, which is actually a canonized ship because it was in Star Wars Rebels, and as well as like the New Hope remake, or special editions, I mean. But yeah, those are just a few of the characters. Darth Zana from the Darth Bane trilogy, the pupil, the apprentice of Darth Bane himself. So yeah, lots of good stuff there that I would like to see called back. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section what Legends characters you would want to see put in canon. Great question, once again, by Robin McCormick. And once again, you can get your questions answered on my weekly show by just simply commenting in the comment section below, or you can tweet me your questions using the hashtag StarWarsWeekly at Starrapter. So next week, you guys can look forward to a brand new novel Pirate's Price. We also have Star Wars issue number 59, Age of the Republic, Jango Fett number 1, Star Wars Adventures Destroyer Down number 3. So how was your guys' vacation? What kind of Star Wars stuff did you do over the last couple weeks during the holidays? What did you enjoy most about the comics that came out this week? Let's talk about it all in the comment section below. If you guys are new to the channel, welcome. I talk about Star Wars every single week, just about. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you continue to want to watch my videos and like what I have to say. That is going to do it for me, Starrapter. Thank you guys so much for watching, and bye-bye. Thanks for checking out the video. Please hit that thumbs up symbol. It helps me know that I'm making content that you guys enjoy. And if you enjoyed this video, I also include 2 videos down below you guys should check out. And please consider subscribing to this channel. It helps support me and it notifies you guys of when I get new videos up on the channel. You can also contact me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Starrapter.